Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Freaking Awesome Vibes.
I'm still trying to call the studio.
Are you getting a ringtone? I couldn't even get a ring.
Bloody my hair.
No, I don't have a ringtone.
Yeah, nothing. It's just like it just said calling, and then nothing was happening.
All right.
We'll add Dana to the show here. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
We are good.
Bye.
Trying to figure out Blog Talk.
I can't help you there.
Oh. For some reason, it's not going through. We can't even get it to ring. RJ's excited. So how's everyone doing tonight?
Doing good.
I'm doing good.
That's awesome.
Speaking of October birthdays, today is also my husband's birthday.
Happy birthday to him.
Yep. Happy birthday, Ian.
Did you make him a nice birthday dinner?
I did. I made him like an Italian chicken crock pot dinner. It was good.
That sounds delicious.
Yep. He got stuck doing a bunch of housework though, which sucks.
Oh well. You gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Are we live yet?
We are live.
All right. Well, you did an introduction, Ryan, because I got to figure this out. It's going to bother me.
All right, guys. This is the October birthday celebration. We have got David Flowers, which I'm not sure he's born in October or not, but
He's a Gemini.
No, I'm June.
He's a Gemini.
Honorary October birthday.
Gemini. That would be David Flowers.
It's all good because both Rihanna and Angie were born in June. So
she's going to kill me
it's a pretty
now.
cool month.
I don't know what's going on with it. Do you want me to just get off of Blog Talk altogether?
Yeah, we won't need Blog Talk.
Well, we actually did.
Worst comes to worst, I can always download it and then upload it to Blog Talk on a later date, like tomorrow or something. Because there's nothing going on tomorrow.
Yeah, but we need to find out why we wasn't able to call in.
Yeah,
I sent a message.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Okay. All right, David, are you sharing out stuff? What are you?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the
It's
live.
on my page. It's on my page and the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show page and my the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show YouTube page as well.
Okay. Let's see how I can get that shared. Feed on your page profile. The hell is it at? Vibe time. Are you going to do it on your show, off of your page?
It's off. Well, it's off my page. Yeah,
I know it's off of your. I'm asking David. Are you doing it off of your page, or are you going to go on Vibe Time and do it?
I'm doing it on my page.
Well, then you're going to have to share that to my page then, because I'll get it on the Vibe Time page since we got people. Sorry, y'all.
it's fine. Make sure everything's shared out so we can get people joining the fun here. I wonder if Holly's having a hard time signing in because that's usually what happens when we do these shows.
I was surprised I had an easy time signing in.
I know. Well, apparently
We can't call in.
doing StreamYard.
I'm here with my glow stick.
See him? He's got his glow stick and everything.
Oh. And my hoop.
We took a trip out to the cabin and he found some glow sticks in the woods and then I got him one from inside. So now he's sitting pretty.
Oh, he's all ready for the nighttime adventures.
He's so ready. So Geri's birthday is actually tomorrow. This is her birthday eve celebration.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm sorry, my head is in the technology part of why isn't this working. That's how my brain works, so I apologize.
No, you're fine.
I mean, it's okay.
Well,
I mean, Blog Talk is just extra anyways. You don't really need it. Nobody listens to it. Except for, I guess, your sister does.
Yeah, she's already bitching.
But see, the thing is with stuff like that, you know that the second you say, oh, we don't need it, is the one time that everyone's going to be like, why weren't you up? Why aren't you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I called in to listen, but you weren't there. Never call in any other day. We have a
Exactly.
show. But man, I
He
called
calls
in.
in, but I can't call in either. This is really
Yeah.
irritating.
Well, don't let it ruin you. Don't let it ruin your night.
Yeah, I shared it to your vibe time page, Jerry.
Thanks.
Oh, Shayla
Dave.
says, hi, everyone. Ronnie
How do you
has
do
an
your
October
homework?
birthday, October 17th. Well, that's awesome.
That's
My
my little
birthday's-
brother's birthday. That's a great day.
It is a great day.
Yes.
Almost as good as the 18th. That's my birthday.
Not as good as the 23rd.
The 18th.
My mom was October 5th.
Well, there you go.
I got a busy month because it starts with my husband, and then my little brother's the 17th. My dad's the 19th, and then I'm the 23rd.
Wow.
Oh, it is a busy month.
Yeah.
You got all this.
August and October are pretty busy.
He's got his phone. He's ready to go. Especially all the paranormal stuff going on. How's the Manor House going?
Manor House is going good. Going really good. I'm surprised at the numbers that I'm having so far this month.
Hey, John Stevens.
Yeah, the Saturday night I had my largest October tour ever.
How much was it? How many were?
31.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you get a big tour like that, do you split them into different groups? Like
Well, just
spaced
on the
out?
tour, if I get above 30, I'll split it off into two groups. Jerry will take one group, I'll take the other one.
Is there like more than one building to investigate, or is it like an upstairs, downstairs thing?
It's one building. And for the tour itself, we do the main floor and the second floor and outside around the building. But if you're doing a private investigation, you have the basement, the main floor, and the second floor.
So for those who don't know about the Manor House, like Dana, for instance, to explain what that is and like what you guys do.
Okay, what we do is on Mondays and Saturdays right now, it's a paranormal 101 and ghost tour. So we show people how to use the equipment and introduce them to the equipment they use during investigations, and plus give them a little history of the house and some of the ghost stories that go along with that history. But if you want to rent it out for a private investigation, you'll do your own thing, and you get access to the whole house.
Cool.
That's the Manor House. That's down in like what, Gloucester?
Oh, it's in
Right?
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg.
Yeah,
So that's
Williamsburg. It's at
that
the
is
Powhatan Resort in Williamsburg off Ironbound Road.
okay. So that's one of the most historic places in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
that's where around.
Yeah, the house itself was built in 1735.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, lots of history down there.
So you're just
Yorktown
giving me a hit, like a straight tour list of Virginia now.
Hey, you know what? You've got a lot of places to come visit when you come down here.
I do, John. I thank you, Shayla. At least somebody gives me credit. David Flowers never does. I appreciate it.
Said Jerry does a great job. David is a great guide. Jerry does a great job. You both do a good job.
He's a slave driver. He don't give a fuck.
Get back to work.
RJ.
Please, Sam. I need a
Come
break.
here.
He's not
You
paying
don't have-
attention.
Okay. Good
He's
thing.
he's watching.
They want to have it way over there because I have a potty mouth. I don't even,
At least he's texting his sister.
Well, that makes me feel better that you have a potty mouth, because I try so hard and it's hard.
You would have been really shocked. Yesterday, I had to do a presentation at a woman's club, which I had a really, really good time. And not one little curse word slipped out. I was so proud of myself because
I bet you're proud of yourself. Yeah.
I was.
That's
I
awesome.
was. They were just sweet, and we had a great time. And you know that you could rent that place for $100. Like if you have a birthday party to do,
I did not
or
know that.
like a bridal shower in Urbana, because I live in Urbana. It's a little small port town. It's, you know, got its little haunted places. But yeah, $100. I'm going, wow, that's like a steal.
I
That's
don't
awesome.
think there's any
It
rentals.
really is.
today.
Yeah, it's really cool. You can't
Yeah.
find stuff like that. That's a nice
Not for
building. It's got a
$100.
kitchen and everything. Yeah.
Maybe like
Mhm.
$100 a person,
Yeah, exactly.
not $100.
With the cap of
I know.
$300.
Yeah. So it was really cool. But we
Going
had
some
fun. We
ghosts
did
too
a,
already.
yeah, we did a 101 and you know, introduced them to the equipment and some of the stuff, the paranormal stuff going on in Urbana, because I do have some evidence there. But it was fun and they had a good time. But I did not cuss.
It is so easy to have stuff slip out by accident without even thinking about
It really does.
You know?
Ask my mom. She tells me all the time, I didn't raise you that way. What are you doing? And then she'll slip out with a couple cuss words like,
Yeah.
like, did you just really say that?
See, I find like I censor myself a lot for work. So the second I'm off the clock, all bets are off.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I have to remind myself, like, work personality.
Yeah. It's right.
Must be professional. Because the second
Professional.
the second I get off the clock, I like you can tell where I'm from. You can 100% tell where I'm from.
That's funny.
Why don't you let them know where you're from, Dana?
I am originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I live a couple miles outside of Philly right now in a suburb. It's called Croydon, and it is super tiny, and nobody knows about it because it's like 2 miles.
Cool.
Small town. But next to a big city, so you get the small town and big city vibes.
Yeah. And it's like the perfect location too, because like if you want to go on a vacation or just like a little weekend getaway, I'm 2 hours from a beach and I'm 2 hours from the mountains.
Nice.
It's kind of like what we're here, like
Yeah.
in Richmond, 2 hours from the beach and 2 hours from the mountains.
And then I'm like 2 hours from everything paranormal that I do.
No, it's
So fortunately, I have family like further up, so I can just spend the night with them. But I think they might be getting sick of me because I will be texting them like, I have an event. I'm coming up this weekend. I have a thing. I'm coming up this weekend. Got this.
I'm sure they're happy to see you.
Well, I clean up after myself, so I try to make it painless. And I also do Reiki and card readings whenever I'm there. So my cousin's stepkids line up.
That works. Yeah.
Ronnie says we live in the mountains 4 hours from the beach.
Oh, that's a shame.
But they live in the mountains, so they get the view of the mountains. So there's
Yeah.
kind of a trade-off there. Fort Mifflin isn't that far.
No, Fort Mifflin isn't that far from Philly at all. It's right by the airport. The airport's in Delaware County. It's like a couple-minute drive on the highway.
That's cool. Have you investigated out there?
No, I would like to though. Like, see, I haven't like as far as investigations go, it's mostly been like small stuff, home stuff, things like that. I haven't actually done any big locations, and that's more so just because I do an investigation. It's because someone tagged me in, or like a friend of a friend needed help with something. So sometimes I'll go with Jeff Dangler, who you had on the show, and investigate like locations with him. Otherwise, it's mostly because they want a medium. They need a medium, so they'll call me in. But I
What's your mommy, buddy?
be more in the investigative side of it, just because I don't know. I'm a little, what's the word? Crazy, and I need that backup, like that evidence backup to my impressions, just so that I'm not sitting here in this perpetual loop of like, am I crazy or am I not crazy? Even though I get a lot of confirmation. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but it's like,
I mean, Jerry can probably relate to it because she's a medium too.
I go into everything blind because I got basically scammed by someone when I was younger and I paid for like a card reading and stuff. now I refuse to get any leading information, anything like just my own personal sanity.
I'm here.
And
No.
when I go into a location, I want to know because I love history, but then I don't want to know because I want to make sure that I'm actually accurate with what I'm getting and what I'm perceiving.
Yeah. Well, I like to take what I have and match it up with equipment. That's what I do.
That's my goal. I would like to be able to do that.
Yeah, I like to do that better than because I used to not look up the history of places, but like we talk about on the tour, it's valuable to look it up so you know what you're looking for and what type of different things that we need to bring, if we need to bring child toys or certain things like that. And then what I'll do is if I get something or I'm sensing something, I'll run an EVP and match it up. And it's been validated quite a few times.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking to do. And
I ain't got nothing, nothing to hide. So when people sit over here and say, "Are you the real deal?" And I'm like, I sure as hell hope so.
My normal response now is like, well, why don't you sit down for a reading and tell me?
Yeah, well, you can do it that way, but
yeah. Well, it's all I got going for me right now. I haven't been to enough locations although like my gut instinct is kind of cool. Like in one location, there was this church that I was investigating in Alberta's PA. My friend Jeff had brought me along with him. And this was so cool. I was saying to him, I want to do an experiment. I have cats. Stella, stop it. So I have, I have this gut feeling. I feel like this will get us evidence. And it's such a shame because the key broke. But I had a necklace that had a pentagram with it in a key. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't wearing any jewelry for the first part of the investigation. But when I walked out, I went and put the necklace on. And when I came back in, I was expecting more of a response to the pentagram on the necklace because it's a church. Mm-hmm. And Jeff asked the spirit box what did Dana go to the car for. And I'm like walking into the church and it goes key. Oh, and I'm like,
nice.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like a couple feet from him and I'm like, my face just dropped. I'm like, and he's like, what? Like what? And I'm like pointing to my necklace, like, look at this. Look at this. It said key. Mm-hmm. And then a week later, he goes back in there and he says, and I'm like, well, do you remember Dana? Was Dana here? And the EVP says clear as day, Wiccan.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that's like the coolest thing ever. But that was just like my gut. That wasn't, well, I don't know. Gut is part of, I guess.
Of course it is. Yeah. Definitely.
That was just like my gut being like, this would be a cool thing to do. And then I've gotten cool pictures just from like wandering off from places and going, you know what? This doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. Let me take a picture of this.
Right. Yeah.
But I really want that evidence to back it up just for my own.
Yeah, that's why I do it, just for my own validation. I don't do it to prove anything to anybody else because I really don't give a two shits if you
a fly in.
But I want the validation for me. Just like when I do all my Reiki sessions, every single Reiki session I do, the client records every single one of them. They do not, I don't let them not record because there's stuff that comes out in those sessions and I want them to record it because I'm not doing just strict Reiki. Mm-hmm. There's other things that are coming with that. So,
Reiki's crazy. Like
definitely
going in for one thing.
Yeah, I don't even think I can call it Reiki anymore. I think I'm just going to call it intuitive healing because Reiki is written and it's a very strict guideline, whereas intuitive healing is not.
That's kind of more where I go, like intuitive healing. Like I got the Reiki attunement and I know it, but like I just kind of dive in and I'm like,
yeah, it's not really Reiki anymore. And originally when Reiki was established, it wasn't supposed to be let me put my hand on this chakra for 5 minutes. It wasn't like that in the beginning. There's a big argument about that. In the beginning, it was he followed wherever his hands went.
Mm-hmm.
and I can't think of the lady's name. It's it's not on the top of my head right now. But anyway, when she took over, that's when she started doing the different points and the symbols, because he didn't do that in the beginning. So
Well, yeah, didn't he just get like a natural attunement from going up on the mountain and meditating and learning how
for
to do
21 days. Yeah, 21
Yeah.
days. And I do like a 21-day focused cleansing meditative stone thing that I have my students do that's part of my curriculum with Reiki. But originally it was all just guided with him.
Yeah.
And then it got changed, and now it's really watered down. And now the symbols to me really don't have a lot of meaning to them because they're watered. Everything's been watered down by people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, isn't that kind of how everything is, especially like in the metaphysical world? Like so much of what we have now is just kind of like a watered down and flavored version of what it originally was to accommodate our palate now, and not like brutal reality or the actuality of what it is.
Right. And then you get all these arguing people.
What do you think it's watered down? Is it just too many people doing it, or
symbols like certain people doing it? I think because there are some I call them pop-up Reiki practitioners, just like pop-up paranormal investigators. They're just like all over the place.
Yeah, it's like
they call themselves witches.
There's one in particular.
Halloween.
Yeah, there's one in particular in the area. Example, she'll charge $150+ a session, and then she'll do the Reiki, and then for $70 or $80 more, she'll balance your chakras, which should have been done when you're doing Reiki to begin with. And then for $150 more, she'll make a kit for you. That's what I mean by the pop-up. Because people don't understand and they know what that is, they'll go to them thinking, oh, I'm getting a good deal or whatever, and they're getting taken is what happened. And then it gives other people that take the work very, very seriously a bad name.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's sad.
I totally
agree. Mechanics that add stuff onto there.
They add stuff
this done and this done and that done.
Yeah. You see, I've seen a lot of that, and that really bothers me, especially how, like, I have no problem with charging what you're worth. Like, if you really are worth what you're charging, then great, amazing. But I have a problem with people who inflate things and then kind of set it up in a way to where you're going to constantly need them, to where they're creating like that codependency.
Right, because that's not what you're supposed to do.
Most of the things I do, like energy work is kind of subjective because sometimes you need to do multiple sessions. But if it's like a working or a house clearing or something, I do it in a way because I only want to be there once. I only if I'm dealing with you more than once, it's because I want you to want my friend, like maybe my friend.
Well, you want to do that because sometimes people have too much layers of shit to to work through, but you don't want them to the point where they're codependent on you.
Exactly.
Because that's not the goal of what we do.
No.
Somebody fucking calling me and messaging me 24 hours. Hey, you gotta help me make this decision. No. Because that's not what we do. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be teaching people how to.
Is going to give you those tools to do it. Like we're going to help you with. It's like a doctor, not like a doctor, but like in a sense, it's like I don't know. Like, well, yeah, we'll come in, we'll diagnose the situation, we'll help you to a certain point, and then you have the tools to do it yourself. And that's kind of like the end goal, is that you should be able to do it yourself, but not have someone like, you see those spiritual parasites out there who want you to basically like call them up weekly for workings, for energy healing, for readings. They want that dependency because they want that money in their pocket. And like, that's like leeching. That to me is so immoral.
Right. I agree with you on that.
And that is so, like, especially this time of year, there's so many pop-ups like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. And it's just it's getting worse and worse. Now my animals, they don't know how to, they don't have that ability like we do, of course, to heal ourselves, and we can sit there and teach. I intuitively talk to them, and I'll talk to the trainers, And I'll be like, okay, this is what you need to do with your horse. Or like the lady yesterday, this, the dog was shaking so bad. I was like, this is what you need to do to fix your new dog, because it had the shakes. I mean, you walked in the room and the poor little dachshund, he was so cute, he shook. And he looked at me and I looked at him, and he knew I did Reiki. He knew I did energy work at some point, because as soon as I touched him, he stopped. And she goes, he stopped. And I said, that's right. And I said, now you're going to take your hand and you're going to put it here. You're going to rub your little hands together, swipe off all your crap. And I said, you're going to put your hand here. And I said, you're going to hold it here. And I said, you're going to do this every day for your dog so it'll stop. So we'll see if she follows through on it. Next time I go out to the marina, I'll see if her little dachshund is still shaky, because I work on animals too. My biggest clientele are horses, and I got a couple dogs. So,
You got a couple cows too.
I do. I have a couple cows, a couple chickens. I have a whole little chicken
I'll work
farm
with
that I do
my cats.
Reiki on, and
My mom's cat, but I haven't really.
I'm still trying to figure out how you Reiki a chicken.
Yeah. How do you
they
get? Yeah.
will come to you. I'm serious. They know that energy flow, and they'll come to you. Cats only come to me for that if they're at the tail end of getting ready to pass away. They know to come to my house, and because I've had a couple of them that were not mine, and I'm going, and they wanted that energy, I guess, to feel good before
That
being the comfort, right? So I don't work on cats too very often. Mine are dogs, PTSD dogs, and horses that have had racetrack background or abuse background of some sort. So I do animal communication with them, and then I do Reiki, and then I teach their trainers how to, maintain things until I come back, pretty much.
So when did you start doing the Reiki on animals? When did?
I had been doing classes with that, and I had done it throughout my Reiki career, because I started Reiki back in 2007. So I had done it throughout the whole time, but as word got out that, hey, she did Reiki on my dog, then it just went from she helped my dog to, hey, maybe she can help your horse. And so I've been doing it throughout the whole time, just not as much as I am now. I have more animal clientele than I have people.
What was that?
Animals.
Oh.
I have 3 cats, and they decided that they're showing off right now. They heard about animal Reiki.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be so rewarding, because it's almost like you get mixed reviews when you're doing it on people, because they either want to remain stoic because they're on the fence about it, or they're super talkative. But I don't know. It depends on the person how much you really get out of it, because it depends on how much they decide to get out of it. I don't know. When I first started receiving Reiki, I would actually grab hold of the energy and direct it, and I would get a lot out of it. Not everybody knows how to do that. So yeah. So now with animals, I don't know, because animals to me are just rewarding anyway.
It's a whole different experience. But see, I absorb everything like a sponge. I've had that. The more Reiki I did, the more now all I got to do is sit next to you, and I'll pick up all your stuff. Now all your health issues. If you got something going on health wise, I'm going to know just by sitting next to you. And with animals, it's the same thing. The minute I go up to one and we do that connection, whatever's going on with them, if their back leg hurts, I'm going to know, because my leg is going to hurt with their leg, so then that way it allows me to tell the person, okay, your horse has an injury here, have you had the massage therapist come in? Oh, it's funny that you say that because just yesterday they were massaging that area, and it's just it's wild, and it's very rewarding. It is. I mean, working with people is too, because you're helping them take steps that maybe get them out of that fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And so that's very rewarding. Or if you're touching base with a loved one that they have been grieving over and didn't know if they were okay or if they had messages, that's rewarding. My favorites are when I go grocery shopping or something and somebody has attachments with them and I can go up to them and talk to them that way.
See, I'm still
That's more rewarding than anything.
now the giving closure for loved ones
Mm-hmm.
is becoming one of my favorite things to do because I experienced a lot, like a period of my life where I'm talking a lot of death, like 15 or more. And just, I have a very large family, like in the like 6 years. And like, yeah, I'm medium. I can talk to them if they want to talk to me, but like to experience that grief and have that true understanding of grief and like to where I can get what other people are going through now was like, because the different levels and types of grief and things like that. Now, the fact that I can give them something that I couldn't always get is super, super rewarding. Hate making them cry. Absolutely hate making people cry unless they're good tears.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't like ripping open the wound just to give them closure.
Right.
But
and most of the time I won't. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like ripping open wounds to give closure, but then sometimes they're persistent and not the people. They're like, no, you have to tell them this. And I'm like, I don't know if they're ready.
Yeah. Where's Holly at?
I talked to her. She thought she was at 9:00. And I was like, "Are you coming on?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you? Well, when's it start? Now?" Like, "Oh, I'll be there at 9:00. Like, okay.
Oh, missed the vibe time part. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I
That's what she was supposed to be on your show to begin with.
Yeah, I thought I tagged her in that the other day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought I did. As a matter of fact, I know
I saw
I
it
did.
because I knew she was supposed to be on that beyond vibe time.
Okay. Well,
So
alrighty.
with this, it being October, and they say the veil is thinner this time of year, is that necessarily true, or is it pretty much the same all year round?
Depends.
I think it's all year round.
Yeah.
That's me.
I think for people who are gifted, I don't think it changes very much.
Nope.
But for people who aren't gifted or aren't really in connection with their gifts, I can definitely see October and May.
Are they? Do you think people are? Do you think it's more?
Mine's every day, so it doesn't change for me. Sorry.
Halloween is
people are paying more attention to it now, and that's why the people may think that it's more thin.
for some, yes. I would think so. You got the scary movies, you got the ghost shows, you got things like the different well-known networks on TV who are running Ghost this, Ghost that, and all their paranormal shows are up, and all the Halloween specials. Like, it definitely makes you more aware of it.
I remember back in the day, the ghost shows didn't used to come on until like Halloween, and like all of October was all ghost stuff. But now you can get ghost stuff all year round. It's just
heck yeah. And
whenever
some
you
people
want,
keep decorations up all year round. I do.
Yeah.
Halloween decorations are like decor.
Yeah.
But I I want to ask everybody else, because this is something that's really been bothering me as of lately. How do you feel about the fact that like ghost shows are so mainstream now? Do you feel like that helps the community or that it hinders it because there's such a unrealistic expectation of what paranormal activity is?
I think it's probably a double-edged sword because it does bring
Mhm.
awareness and it does, help people want to get more involved in the paranormal. But when they do, they think it's a certain way. It's like
Yeah.
if you watch fishing shows on TV and you just assume that you're going to go out and just catch a bunch of fish, like every time you put the rod into the water, it's like you have this expectation that's not realistic. But at the same time, again, it does bring awareness and it does make people who are having problems with the paranormal, it makes it easier for them to talk about it because of the popularity of the shows.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to doing the tours that say they've learned how to ghost hunt from watching Zach Baggins.
I mean, I get those at the cabin too. We get the people like, oh my God, people think they're going to be a bunch of people like jump scaring them during the investigation or,
Yeah,
I
that's true.
feel like it's a double-edged sword too. I'm just getting like, I'm interacting with a lot of people who are having a lot of fear because of these TV shows. And yes, there are things out there we should be afraid of,
Right.
Mhm.
but they're not as common.
Yeah.
It's
TV makes it
entertainment.
okay.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, says demons, yes, they do exist, but they're extremely rare.
Yes. Like I've even read case studies done from like the Warrens and like other like really famous, people who kind of were in the beginning of all this. And they all say the same thing, that like a demonic haunting is extremely rare.
Yeah.
And that you're going to encounter all these other things first. But yet every time you watch TV nowadays, it's always a demon. And it's so frustrating to me.
I
Especially
think demon's the new ghost or malevolent spirit. It's just like it's a catchphrase or a word that people for entertainment purposes they're like, oh, demon.
Yeah. And 99% of the time it's just a pissed off ghost.
Yeah.
Now everything bad that happens is because of a demon. It couldn't just be a ghost that was an asshole in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then the other thing is too, like there's more things out there that were never human than just demons. There's like in the realm of spirit, there are so many other things. There's so many other species besides just demons. And just because you encounter something that isn't human doesn't necessarily make it evil. It could just be morally neutral and just not understand our way of thinking.
Right.
So when I see these shows where like everything is like demon, 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 I must yell at it like a football game.
Or like the people who yell "Don't go in there" to people in like horror movies.
Yeah.
Why would you revoke that?
Maybe demon is just an easier word to use than oh shit or like an elemental, because maybe a lot of people don't know what elementals are. So if you say demon, that's just easier word for people to come to grasp with or understand, rather than saying elemental, even though elemental is the proper word to use.
No. I feel like it's a buzzword. It generates fear, and that generates viewers.
That's it's entertainment. That's all it is. And so you gotta look at it as. It's not a how-to guide. It's for fun. And just if you look at it like that, it's a lot different. I used to love watching Ghost Adventures, and I'll watch it every once in a while. But when I was younger, before I started doing this, it was just I had a different point of view of it.
Yeah.
Than when I'm doing it now.
Right.
And it's not much trying to bash them or anything. It's just
no, they're entertaining. Like you have to give them that. They're showmen.
But not only that, when you're so used to doing stuff and you're going out there and you're doing things like that, I'm not in the mood to watch that shit.
Yeah. If they can just do it, you do it every weekend, and it's
Anyway.
like you get you get if you're doing it all the time, you don't really want to watch it. You
Yeah.
just want to go out and do it yourself, which is
Yeah.
what happens to me when I try watching paranormal shows.
Well, it's like, why would a carpenter want to watch a show about building houses?
True.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think an accountant would want to watch a show about doing taxes.
No.
You know?
Yeah, because when I watch those shows, I always get pissed off because said that doesn't work that way. That doesn't work that way. And
Again,
it doesn't matter what show it is.
Mhm.
All of them they all do the same thing. And it's nothing against them, it's the producers.
Yeah, absolutely.
With
And they're all
exception of
kind of
Zach
the same.
Baggins. Yeah, Zach Baggins, he's just an idiot.
An idiot with more money than me.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah.
As Dennis always says, he's an excellent marketeer. He
Yeah.
can market himself better than anybody, and he does a damn good job of it.
You gotta have that bombastic personality to stand out because I mean lots of ghost hunting shows are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know, if you just kind of cookie cutter, just different locations. But unless you have that standout personality, and you know, there's a reason why he's still on Travel Channel,
Mhm.
and a lot of the other shows have been kicked off Travel Channel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Like I said, I don't like Zach. I think he's an idiot, but he's a rich idiot.
The one thing I wonder though was like with all those over the top reactions, like in an actual investigation and not a TV show, when they're constantly screaming and they're constantly running and they're constantly knocking in the stuff, like how much evidence did you just destroy? Like how much
Exactly.
evidence did you just destroy by your over the top reaction?
Yeah.
or how they played music like really loud, right when you're supposed to be hearing an EVP.
Mhm.
And you can't hear it because the music's playing over it. And
Yeah.
it said this, but you can't hear it, so you just gotta take a word for it.
Yeah, and I hate it when they put the subtitles up there on the EVP.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to be able to figure it out for myself. I don't want to have to read it.
And then it sounds nothing like what they say it's supposed to
Yeah.
be. It's like, oh my god, it said hello. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, how you doing?
Sometimes I feel like the subtitles are just subliminals so that you'll trick your mind into hearing it.
Exactly.
Because they don't actually have any evidence.
Yeah.
It works. For
Well,
some
yeah.
people.
That's why they got money, and
And it, you know, there are
We have
people
to work,
going
we have to work for a living.
but there are people who do spend a lot of time, like Austin from Forgotten Explorations and Twisted Paranormal and all those the people who do spend a lot of time making YouTube videos and sharing them and just to try to get to that to maybe not Zach Bagans level, but a little bit bigger level higher than YouTube to help educate the people about the paranormal, but do it the right way.
Right.
You know, only bad
Yeah.
part is there's a ton of people doing the same thing. So again,
Yeah.
they've got to figure out something to help them stand out from everyone else to get to where they get to, I guess, to where they want to be. You know, that's the key. What is it? What do you do?
Yeah.
it's amazing
You
how
don't-
competitive of a market it's become.
It is, man. You know, and it's all about, you know, which evidence is better, or it's like, you know, if a David gets something from the manor house, somebody goes saying hi, and I get a piece of evidence of a ghost saying hi at the cabin, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's
How you
not
sell it.
competition. Yeah. I hate the post-production music and sound effects on the. Yeah, exactly. But they have that like really like the music going up like into intensity, so you get really scared, you know. But obviously nothing happened to them because they did the show. They lived, They typed it, they put it out, and now it's on TV. You know, they're okay. This is I'm not trying to turn this into a bash and ghost
No,
show.
I was just wondering if it had hindered anybody else or like what their opinions are, because
it's something that needs to be talked about, you know.
I just encountered a few people lately who were just so scared, and some of the reason for that fear was because of these outcomes they had seen on these shows. And
if you have any cool EVPs, Dana, Geri and David are doing an EVP review show here coming up in even in the next couple weeks here.
You got to talk to John one. He's got all that good evidence.
I sent one in. I might send up.
We have an email. We have an email address if he wants to send something.
Oh yeah,
hey, Rhonda.
We don't have that connection. Yeah, so if you want to shoot it over to him, because we're doing what's called EVP review, that's coming up on the 24th and the 31st.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're gathering people's EVPs. They're emailing David. So if you can give him David's email, and then
absolutely
he's going to download it and then give credit, of course, whose EVP it is, and then we're going to go over it on our show. That's what we're going to do. The cutoff is October the 17th.
Oh yeah, he's got some good ones, and I know this because when he and I first started communicating, I had mentioned that my husband is a musician and a sound engineer. Mm-hmm. So one of the things he had asked was, with my husband's equipment, if he could clear up and clean up some of his EVPs. And we were like, yeah, sure. So he actually got to work on a lot of his stuff, which was pretty cool, especially when you don't know what you're getting and he just tells you X amount of seconds in. Mm-hmm. And then so you're sitting there listening to it and you're like, wait a minute.
Hey, Kimberly.
There was one where I was like, no way, this has to be a person. This is better than any TV show, anything. And he's like, no, there's a video attached. So I look at the video. Sure enough, there's no other woman there. There is just them. And it was so clear that I was like, this is the $1 million EVP. But I'll let Jeff share that one. He probably knows which one I think it is. But then there's other cool ones that he would send over and Ian would clean up. Lucky for us that he has all the studio equipment and the Pro Tools and all the good stuff to get the sound, clean up the sound and all, because we were able to do cool stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, just have him send it. He put his email in the Vibe Time with Geri link. It's vapor757.david@aol.com. So he's put it in there. Can you are you able to put it on that little chat? You know how you show up on the you know what I'm talking about? Where you can put something there. I don't know if it'll let us do it.
Yeah, Phil, I got those today. And the one of them that I do remember is asking for a SIG. It's an EVP that Phil's wife caught. A few years ago, we were at Moundsville Penitentiary, and she set a recorder down on a little half wall, and she walked away a few steps talking with somebody else, and you hear a male gravelly voice says, "Give me a SIG." It's just
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. If I didn't know him, I would have said it was fake.
Yeah,
it was that good.
I can respect that.
Yeah,
I say that a lot.
I've cited so I usually use my phone, my voice recorder for EVPs, but now I do a lot more video with my phone, so I can have that visual.
Yeah.
As well as audio. The other night, I was at the cabin with Howie, and we were did a fire pit, and we heard drumming coming from the woods.
I heard that one, yeah.
Oh, I seen that video.
Mm-hmm.
So we went out there by ourselves. There's no one else there. His brother was with us, but he was way back by the fire pit. That's 75 yards or a little bit farther from where we were. and we were talking, and we hear a voice come through. It said, "Hey," right after Howie said something, and it wasn't either of us, and we were the only ones in the woods. And of course, I looked up if there's any kind of, yeah, you're plagued by drums, yeah. Is there any high school games going on that night? And Mechanicsville High School, which is the closest high school, did not have any games. Plus, it was like 10:20, and they're usually done by then, anyways. But it was Saturday night, and there were no games going on. But if I had just gone out there with my voice recorder and just had us talking, it'd be harder for me to explain that there was just two of us there. Compared to, you can just see, like, you can see it. Oh, it's only two of us in the woods. Now, I had to scan the woods to prove that there was nobody there because I wasn't expecting to get anything. I was more worried about the drumming, trying to pick that up, but catching that person saying, "Hey, that's just a lucky accident." But it's clear, very, very clear. And those
that was a really good EVP. I heard that one.
Yeah.
My favorite one of yours is that chanting one that you got when you were sitting there with your phone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that one that you sent in, that Native American chanting. That's amazing. My favorite
one.
Totally caught by accident because I couldn't figure out how to turn my new digital recorder off. I was like, "Oh, it's off." Put it in my pocket.
Yeah, I told you it was in his pocket.
Yeah,
damn it.
That's a happy accident.
But if I had done that, I would have. If I had to cut it off, we would have caught it.
Yeah, you would have never caught it. Yeah,
and it's still pretty clear. Just a little bit of scuffling sound because it's inside my pocket. And I got a ton of EVPs from that place.
Yeah, that's going to be the very first one that we go over on the 7th.
Yeah, because some of those that have been sent in are not they're too whispery. You can't make some of them out. Not all of them, but there were a couple of them that's really low and can't hear it.
That's hard. You gotta have people with
we gotta have it where we can freaking hear it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just saying if it's hard for me to hear or David to hear, it's going to be hard for the audience to hear it.
Oh, that's not mean at all. Like, that's common sense.
Yeah, it's too low. You can't hear it
because you want it. We're entertaining people. We want to be entertaining. We don't want to be like people straining to hear. Oh, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that with EVPs, you also have to be careful that they're not like overly cleaned up or overly edited, because sometimes you can actually destroy. Like,
David's done that. David, didn't you? You did destroy one. Trying to
clean it up too.
You did that one time. You destroyed one. Remember, it took out the whole thing. It cleaned it up too good.
Yeah.
That was last year.
Yeah. Be careful not to clean out the frequency that the actual EVP is on, thinking that's junk frequency.
Yeah.
I learned a thing.
There's all the cleanup, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, plus if it's raw, if you get it very clear, and it's just a raw EVP, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this one. I'll send you guys. We're in the same place where I got the Indian chanting. We're in the dining room, and you hear these two kids talking, clear as day, little boy, and it's like it says, "Hear us, cuz we're important." Aww. Like they're reaching out to us.
Aww.
And it was kind of heartbreaking because I heard them like, "Oh my God," because they want us to hear them.
Where was that?
Bell Nemus, the place where I got the enchanting. And is there a light in here? You have a light? Is there a light in here? It was pretty cool. I mean, that was like at the Manor House when David wasn't working one night, and I was setting up to do the tour by myself, and I went upstairs, had my body camera on, and I was cutting on lights in this. I always say hi when I go up there, and this little girl said, "Hey," and then I was like, "I'm going to go cut the lights off in the bathroom," and this little boy goes, "I got it." And it was just so cute. Got it. Trying to help you out.
Yeah, it was just cute.
That question: did the lights turn off? That would be even better.
That would be awesome.
But it would have been awesome, though.
Imagine how like great it would be if they actually could like interact on that
Yeah.
level and just kind of help us out with stuff.
Yeah.
I already
Can you put the
do.
bathroom light off for me, please?
Like I
Dim the light a little.
I'm being lazy. Go turn the light off for me.
said,
Mhm.
I seen a meme about is there any ghosts in this house? And they're like, yes. And they're like, good. The rent's this much. And
Yeah, exactly.
laundry.
The mop's in the closet.
Yeah.
Get to work.
Yeah, when it's funny is when David says, "Is there anybody in here with us?" No. Or "What's your name?" No. Or "Can you tell us who you are?" No. And I'm just going laughing because I have several of it on my phone with that, and it's just funny to me. No. Not
very
here.
cooperative.
Nope.
Kimberly Ashbury says, well, if I can find them, I'll send them in. I'm sure she's got a lot of good ones from.
Yeah, your cutoff date is
Walnut
October
Wood.
17th. He's got to have time to do his to get them all down. So yeah, if you have any,
A lot of the
and
cabin
we are
ones.
going to be doing a different show in October, or excuse me, at the beginning of the year.
A
Mr. John
different show?
Savage is like, we're going to be doing a couple of, instead of doing the EVP review, we're going to do a picture review.
Ooh.
Those are hard, man. I'm one of those people who could not see, like, when people show me like something in the window, look, and it's a face, and it's like very distorted looking face, and I'm like, and everyone else can see it. I'm like, you know, those pictures where you look at something and it becomes like 3D. I'm not one of those people who can see those
Yeah.
kinds of things.
A lot of those pictures are like matrixing too. It's just like glare.
Okay.
Your mind trying to create like familiar shapes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Paul Schmidt's favorite word.
Mhm.
I don't like it when people automatically say it's pareidolia. It's like you see something and it's clear as day. There's a face there, but it's got to be pareidolia. But it's like dolia. I can't even say it myself. It's like if that's pareidolia, then everything's pareidolia. You know,
All of it. All of it.
None of it's
All-
yeah.
none of it.
Yes, I'll be giving out free red markers. Okay, John Stevens.
Because of
If it's not marked in red, it will not be accepted because the show is revolves around red. So y'all send me a picture and it ain't circled in red, then your shit don't count. You better make sure it's circled in red. Not white, not blue, not purple, but red.
No
So
hot
I
pink.
sent my picture in from Penhurst. I
Yes.
actually circle it in red.
Circle it in red.
Okay.
I'll tell you the details, but
Yeah.
there's a reason for that.
Like the picture I got at Penhurst was probably like before I really, I guess, kind of admit it to myself. Because I don't know if you went through this, but you've always kind of knew about yourself or you suspect it, but you always kind of like deeply knew it. But then there's like a period of time for me where like I didn't want to admit it or I was like questioning, is it real? Am I crazy? And this was like during that time. So I started like reading things and kind of like, but I wasn't fully open to the fact that I was gifted. But me and my husband went to Penhurst for a historical tour. And I have a few personal reasons for that. I know like personal stories about people that I know could have potentially went there and things like that. So, and the grounds are, I would be kind of nervous to investigate there just for fear of getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the ground wrong and sprained my ankle. So I wouldn't want to go somewhere like that. We don't have enough time for that to explain all that. But yeah, like I'm one of those people that can like look at the ground or just sneeze and I like broke my ankle.
Yeah, wow.
But
and you guys have a very, very thick skin when we do this show because, just make sure you got thick skin.
no, I've had people of all walks look at it. So you want to tear it down. But I just thought it was cool because it was something I physically caught. It wasn't like I was on the investigation and it was caught. It was something I actually caught. I was in the basement of the Mayflower building with the tour group. But me doing what I do, I was just kind of wandering off and going wherever I was drawn to. And the tour group was like behind me. And I just kind of wandered this way. And there was a room to my one side, and there was just the back of the basement here. And I'm sure, like, on TV shows and stuff, like, I could point out to you exactly where I was. And I was like, I don't feel right. Something's off right here. I'm going to take a picture. Sure enough, a couple days later, I was going through it and I was like, no. No. No, I didn't know. No. And then I brought it to my husband and my brother-in-law and they're like, no. And I'm like, no. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, can we debunk this? Can we like figure this out? And they're like looking at all the pictures before and after and they're like, no. And I'm like, I know, right? And they're like, yeah. But I thought it was pretty cool because that place is like all over the paranormal shows. And it, from just a, like my standpoint, it's active. Like it, yeah. You feel all eyes on you when you walk through there.
Cool.
Oh shit! But they say follow your instincts. And you did. You felt like there was something there. You took the picture, and you got something.
Yeah, like if I was like not on a historical tour and was actually on like an investigation, I'm sure we could have got like some really cool stuff. And then like it was during the day, and we know there's that debate about whether or not you're going to catch evidence during the day versus night and all that. So like that to me just kind of proves that you can catch stuff during the day.
Oh yeah, a lot of times I'll go investigate the cabin during the day, and I get a lot of cool stuff, EVP wise.
Mm-hmm.
But we now have a new guest has entered the chat from the mountains of Southwest Virginia. Ready for some down home fun? Let's bring the ultimate freak on, Holly Mullins.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey.
Hi.
Woo-hoo. Now the party can start.
I don't know how long you got for. Y'all know how this works. Every time, every year.
I was gonna say, when you didn't come on 8 o'clock, I bet you can't sign in because it's like it's always something that happens. But hopefully, it'll last for the next hour. Is she frozen already?
Yeah.
Oh, there. Okay. Oh, Kimberly Moxley says, "Woohoo, Appalachia!" We had her come up here a couple weeks ago. She came up here for a
She
he's frozen. He's frozen. It's like the worst face she could have made being frozen too. Let's see. Oh no. And she can't sign in. We can't call in either.
just have to hope that it kind of like unfreezes itself.
I hope so. But she's way out, and she lives in a mountain, so it's hard for her to get a connection out here.
And we lost her.
Well, I think she probably cut herself off. We've done these shows before where it's just me, Geri, and Holly. We try to do like spiritual shows, and sometimes she's a hard time signing in to do those shows.
I beat your ass. I saw what you just did. The fuck,
Three Musketeers is good.
asshole.
Oh, I was like, I'm just drinking my LaCroix here. What are you talking about?
Hold the basket. You got the basket? I know exactly.
Oh, the Halloween candy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Try again. There we are.
My
Welcome back.
Hey.
Yeah, my dumb tail. I was thinking Halloween was the last weekend of September, so I bought a big old bowl of candy for the ghost tour.
Excuse me, sir. How much plant medicine have you smoked?
Yeah, I've only known it as Halloween for 56 years.
Well, you know what? I've heard them trying to change Halloween to the last Saturday in October and all kinds of crazy stuff the last few years. So who knows if they're not going to try to change it to the last weekend in September.
It's Walmart's fault for having all that stuff out in September.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out in August. I mean, a lot of stuff you go out and you see Halloween stuff in like middle of August. And I mean, I love it, but it doesn't feel like Halloween when it's 100 degrees outside.
No.
True.
Yeah.
So we've got Holly Mullins in the chat or in the show right now. And why don't you let everyone know who you are, Holly, and what you do?
Oh Lord. Okay. So I'm Holly. I'm an intuitive healer. I do a lot of teaching and healing, and I do that with energy work. I do that with past life regressions. I do it with my readings. I do that with counseling, sitting down with folks and teaching them, and also in the process learning myself, because we always know that we're always the student and the teacher in all life processes. So yeah, pretty much I'm a healer. I'm an Appalachian granny woman, and I practice with my plant medicine here, the native plants. I'm still learning a lot, as we always are, but I come up from a family in the mountains where we had granny women and men who practiced herbal care um, through alternate ways. So yeah, that's pretty much who I
So what exactly does granny mean? Like when I think granny, I think of like old women with like a hair in a bun. What is that? Why is it called granny?
What is it? Well, because mostly the women of the communities that aided in birthing babies and the holistic medical needs, like, you
Mhm.
know, you're curing your burns and your wounds and doing it with plants instead of using, like, you know, pharmaceuticals. They knew the ways, the old ways. So it mostly was in the elderly women of the community. So that's why they was called granny women. And it didn't necessarily make them a grandmother, but they was that grandmother role, so it was that energy.
I gotcha.
Yeah. There was
That's
also men
fun.
too, which is really cool. Going back in my ancestry, my great great grandfather burned out his nostril because he had a cancerous growth on his nose, and he used herbs to do that, and he just left a whole like hole right there. Nobody said it was. I mean, it got rid of the cancer, but you know, it left him with a really odd looking hole in his nostril.
It's amazing how far we've come away from that way of life as far as like using um different herbs and different like natural medicinal items to cure things, because I guess maybe technology or the people look down on that type of thing,
Oh
where it's
yeah,
like, well, why let them get it from the mountains where they can pay more from a pharmacy or whatever.
Right. Well, absolutely. In the long run, yeah, that's absolutely what it is. But it's quicker care is what it is. Is we're very
Mhm.
impatient as humans, so we want quicker care. And herbs take a little bit more time than what some of this quicker active, how they've, you know,
Hey,
concocted it up in
Vanessa.
the labs, you know, can aid and heal in better ways, I guess, in some. But it's all about like trusting in that, because that was the medicine that we originally had. That's all we had. And yeah, just I think what has happened is we had the overuse of some of these very beneficial drugs that they've invented, which is, I mean, really honestly, it's just like you know, like your antibiotic. We have antibiotic resistant everything out there right now. If we had used less of antibiotics and rely on our more medicinal herbs and were, you know, educated on them, then we wouldn't see as much as that these days.
Yeah, and that's true. Like you said, instant gratification. You
Yeah.
have a headache, you want it to go away right away. As soon as you swallow the pills, you want it to disappear.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we're in that, like, every time we get ill, we want to run to the doctor. And unfortunately, the doctors don't know everything. And you know, as far as like the medicines goes, yes, there's medicines out there that are saving people's lives. Not putting that on at all, but sometimes
Mhm.
we need to be more resourceful and look at the medicine that we have all around us. That's magic, really.
Absolutely. I would love to pick your brain about, first off, Appalachia and
Say
urban
Appalachia. Say Appalachia.
life. Look, I'm stuck with my accent, okay?
Okay. Me too.
No, but one day I am so fascinated with just everything about that. And it's kind of like the thing that I've been starting to get more and more fascinated with throughout the years. And now I'm just like, oh, the lore, the mythology, the healing, like,
Yeah.
because it all seems to be like one in its own. Like you can find books on it and all like that. It's like its own entity. And I would love to pick your brain.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned the Appalachian Mountains is because a lot of people don't think of the Appalachian Mountains as a big range of height, but like it's mighty in power because the Appalachian Mountains are very ancient. There's a lot of ancient magic in those mountains because when a lot of the ancestors come and they consorted with the Native Americans, there was a lot of old ways being taught from the England way and through other continents, but there was also, the natives here who were already here who we kind of like took their herbs and they knew the native herbs to work with and we knew the magic that we knew, and that's our Scottish and Irish ways, and it goes really deep and people don't think about that magic that's in these mountains. And we just come back from our out west trip and we went out to the Rockies and we went out to all these different landscapes and stuff, and it was really cool. And I've been able to travel over the years, so I've connected with different places, but the Appalachian Mountains is different. It's
Shut up, Charles Stevens.
God.
Don't
You
want to
said
beat your ass.
I want to hear Holly say Warshrag.
Portrag.
There you go. We made your dreams
Warshrag.
come true, John.
Honey, don't forget to change your panties.
Exactly. So
I
you've been
agree.
selling these paintings on Facebook, like spirit paintings, or what are they called?
Yeah. So I channel most
Channel
of my
paintings.
paintings, yes, channel paintings. And what that means is that I just let it flow on the canvas. And a lot of my paintings at first, I was like, just let me mess around with like Halloween. Like I was never considered myself an artist, by the way. Before I was like, I can't even do a straight line, but what makes an artist? So it's like part of my healing process and myself and showing other people that they can do this too. It's just like, when you're growing a plant and you're nurturing your plant. I just posted about that earlier today, but it's the same process as nurturing that back in yourself. But being able to channel energy and channel energy through other ways, like there's channeling has many possibilities, but painting is one of them, or writing, music. But yeah, my paintings flow through me, and a lot of them is just what they are. And it's really cool to see the transitions and the things that I've painted because there was no preconceived notion of what I was going to paint. I would just channel the painting through. So yeah, I brought them out to the cabin. Lisa Ann had bought my most I don't know. I held it up there because it was very, very, very channeled to the point where it was like I had to look up what the meaning of some of the things in my own painting was because I had no clue. But yeah, it's cool. It's I hope everybody out there knows that you're capable of doing this too.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people they doubt themselves, or
Yeah,
they don't trust their
yeah,
instincts.
no.
When you started, like Dana, when you started, how did you get past that like doubting yourself? Or if you had
Me in the pool without floaties.
Mhm.
I had someone who just really pushed me. And then once I was starting to get pushed and I had friends that were supportive, then I just kind of was like, because at first I would give responses like, this is what I'm getting. But like logically, it could be this, or, it could be that. And I would completely invalidate my findings. But then I had like people who just really supported me and would just be like, hey, just give me what you got. So when I started just kind of rolling with it, and I guess like channeling and just kind of letting it all rush out, then they'd be like, oh, it's funny you say that because A was right, B was right, C was right. And I'm like, D was right. And I'm like, oh. And then that made me a lot more comfortable with actually giving my impressions or giving a full reading on someone because I was validated, I was supported, I was even tested, which I'm happy I was tested because I'm neurotic and I need constant validation that I'm not some schizophrenic that deserves to be in a straitjacket, that I truly have abilities. Because that's like my worst fear is one day someone's going to tell me, nope, this was all a dream. You made it all up. You're really crazy.
I think we all have to overcome those, and them are cycles too. They come back around, and the more often they come back around, that we have to face that fear of, because we feel alone so much. Especially when you're on this level, you feel so very alone, because even though people think they get it, they truly don't get it. And then when you have to question, because you've pushed yourself through these lessons to go through things, and when you're aware of them, it's like, okay, I know I'm going through this lesson, and what's going to come on the other end of that? It's like, am I crazy? Am I losing it? And how many times have you said that to yourself? I know for me, it still comes back around. I have to question that reality, because it's, part of who we are and part of this path is breaking free from all of the confines of our mental prison and the mental prison that everybody else has put us in. It's all that hold that we have on us. So yeah, if you don't question your sanity, then, what are you doing?
Yeah, I had a friend tell me that the reason that, like, that part of the reason that we are the way that we are, like, especially like anybody who's gifted, like with mediumship or anything like that, is because we're walking that tightrope between both worlds.
Yes.
And
When you're, yeah.
that, like, so because we don't live in the same existence as most humans, we're kind of walking both realms. We're dealing with it both. You have to block out the human realm sometimes to tap into this. You have to block out that realm just to function as a human and not be like, yo, Bob, can you stop talking to me? I'm trying to have a meeting. Like,
Right. It's a balance.
And I think that, like, walking that tightrope is part of the reason that I constantly question my sanity.
Yeah. Well, the deeper you get into it, the deeper like the layers are. Like it's almost like we're okay. So we're in a Sims, right? Think of it as the Matrix, Alice in Wonderland, whatever. It's a big synchronicity. Everybody has their different paths they're walking to get there. But when you start awakening and seeing things for how they truly are versus how we're taught we're supposed to see things, it totally blows out that psyche. And so then you start meeting people who are just like you. And then when you start going deeper into that path, you see a whole lot more people like you, and you realize, okay, there's about a 300,000 or not like a million at least people out there who are saying the same exact things that I'm saying, and I don't talk to none of these people. So, come on. It's like it is. We're not crazy. It's there's this huge awakening that's been happening for a very long time, but it's like this major. There's a lot of energy happening right now. So
I've noticed that, and I've noticed people that like sitting there who like never once talked about abilities, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, the craziest thing happened to me. I'm having the craziest dreams. I'm seeing and hearing things. Like,
yeah.
It's like we were talking about earlier, how people are becoming more comfortable talking about this stuff through paranormal shows, but also shows like this and Geri's show and other paranormal podcasts, where we can have these open discussions about, different levels of the paranormal, spirituality, and stuff like that.
Right. No, absolutely. I think too is like it's an expansion of consciousness on a collective scale. Is we're all. I mean, if you've been on the paranormal path, and I know, most of us here have been on the path for a long time, but you have to question at what point in that path. Why are you on that path? What is it leading to? What is it leading you to? What is it showing you? What lessons are there? What's involved? Because we're all on that path for that reason. It's like if you pull yourself back, we are meant to be there for us to understand things about ourselves in that world, because it was like Dana was talking about it. She talks about walking the other world as a shaman. That's what we do. we have to learn how to be able to go in the lower and the upper worlds. And that just means a vibrational state of mind. So, yeah, crazy, I know. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Lexi. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Kimberly.
Well, fortunately, I don't think that's crazy at all. But it's funny when you talk to somebody who doesn't who wants to understand it, but they don't, because then you're sitting there and you just feel, you're like, look, I know how crazy this sounds. This is my reality. This is what I deal with. And they either full on or holy crap, how do you exist? Or
No,
they're just
absolutely, yeah.
fully skeptic. I'm lucky enough now that I'm either surrounded by people who are on a similar path to me, and they're like, no, I totally get it. It's nuts. Or just people that are like, how do you exist? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I just kind of do my thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surrounded. I'm very lucky because I've cycled through them groups of people that no longer align with me. So I have got the best weirdos around me.
Weirdos are the best.
That's all you need in life. The best
How-
weirdos.
How do y'all deal with the people that they say they got some sort of gift that I think they just have gas?
Oh. I think it depends on what capacity, because
Because, for example, I can't tell you how many times somebody has come in to one of my tours and says, well, I'm an empath, I'm this, I'm that. And
We are. I think that's the thing. This is what people don't realize is we hear I'm an empath. Everybody's an empath. We're all empathic. We all have the ability to learn energy, to connect with energy. That is part of who we are. But it's to what extent? Spirit will not allow ego to go too far on this path. They are people out there that are connected. They just don't understand that connection. So when someone tells them, hey, you're connected or you're empathic, they run with it. And that's wonderful, but it's just unguided. It's very unguided people. And what we need more of is people who stand up and go, hey, well, yeah, you are empathic. Let me show you this, or this is how the world should be working. It's going to be working, but yes, that's how I feel about it.
one thing that I notice, and it's I sit here and I say this, and it's going to be I'm going to sound like an asshole for saying this, because here I am sitting on a show, being advertised as a medium, witch, and all that good stuff. I feel like the people who brag about it the most are the least.
bingo.
So, you sit here and I'm sitting here in this capacity, but in my day-to-day life, I'm not sitting around flying my psychic flag. If I go on a ghost hunt, just to a historical tour or anything, I'm not going to say anything to anybody. If I get a cool picture, I might walk up and show the tour guide, hey, look what I got. Isn't that cool? But for the most part, I'm not going to sit around and advertise it. And then even when it comes to my readings and that professional aspect of my life, I don't put a lot into my advertising, because I feel like if you need to hear a message from me, you're going to find your way to me.
Yeah, that's the way I feel too. I've always said that, spirit. And also everything that comes out of my mouth, I don't have normal conversations anymore. If you're in my presence, we're talking about healing. And then I check out if we're not, because that's the life I'm living right now.
Oh, except for work. When I'm working, I have to be.
Dude, you're quiet over there.
Yeah.
I'm working on something.
I have to step away for 1 second, so I will be right back.
Yes, ma'am. Have at it, honey.
I actually meditated today.
Yay!
Yeah.
Just for the show, huh?
Yes. Well, I think they'd be so proud of me. I meditated today. I did a one of those guided meditations. Lit my incense up in our room. I would piss Angie off because she doesn't like the smell, but it's just something about the incense that makes it feel more real.
So how did it go?
It was fine. It's a 15-minute little guided meditation. It's a healing light meditation.
A what?
A healing light meditation, where it's like you lay down and you visualize a light going over your body. It's got to have the English accent.
Oh, you totally got to have the accent.
Yes, because I won't take it seriously unless it's in an English accent.
Yeah, well, whatever gets you. I mean, different strokes, different folks.
I'm glad
It
you
works.
did that.
Relax.
Did it
I
work?
gotta start doing it more
Work
often.
for you?
Do
Good.
what?
I said,
Yeah.
did it work for you?
I mean, I had a hard time keeping the visualization of the healing light because when you're laying down doing nothing, your mind tends to wander a little bit. But it was relaxing, and saying you breathe in the golden light of the healing, breathe in and then breathe out the bad air, the negativity out, stuff like that. I find that works better for me doing the guided meditations than just sitting there in silence, because then it's like you start thinking about stuff that you never would thought about in like a million years.
When I try that, I fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good to also let them things process through too, because when you have an overactive mind like you, Ron, because you go like, it's always chattering in there. So, you're going to lay down and have these full blown situations come up. But, it's important to address like what thoughts are coming through your mind, and just take the moments to also know that meditation is just not about quieting your mind, but healing. Part of that process is healing and understanding why some of those things are continuously on your mind.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I anticipated the technical difficulty, so I tried to make it as short as possible.
Hey, we've been having technical difficulties all night, and we were just talking about meditation and how I actually meditated today.
Well,
just so I can impress Holly and Geri, because they're always after me to meditate. So I was like, I'm going to do it.
How long's it been since the last time you meditated?
What year is it? Just kidding. I don't know. I mean, probably a couple months.
At least I love it. You know what I love about you, Ryan? You're real. You're authentic. You ain't no bullshitter. And I love it.
God, I was thinking about the day about some of the birthday shows we used to have back in the day.
Oh, God. We had raunchy ass shows. We had dirty shows.
Yeah. Not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Yeah, put your kids to bed for our shows.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Holly was my co-host on the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show.
Yeah.
For like 2 years. And we started the Vibe Network together. And that's, we want to be here.
Yeah,
doing this.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And we just got to see each other after, like, me and Ryan. How long we've been friends, Ryan? Probably about 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah. I mean, probably I started the show in 2014.
But
so, yeah. I mean, and you started with the show like in June of 2014. Or, yeah. Because we're coming up on 10 years for the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show. So that's crazy to me. I didn't think it was going to last a month.
Well, no, yeah. And then also what's cool is that you get to go back and see your transition. I get to watch my transition as a person too, because, when I first started out in this whole world, in the paranormal world, it was, for me, it was personal experiences. And then I was like a paranormal team and I had no clue anybody else was around, and then started meeting all these other people. I mean, that was a decade ago. So it's amazing to know who you still have in your wheelhouse, because friendship like groups change constantly within that field. And this past visit that me and Dallas just went out to the cabin and had, it was very cool because I got to do some healing there. Just going out toward Richmond and some of the stops we made, and just like seeing how things are so much different than they were when I first started in the field and when we was first, back in the day. I don't know. It's very healing to me. It was letting go of old friendships and relationships and just old ties to that world that I no longer participate in.
And speaking of growth, I mean, even watching Geri from when we first met.
Be right back. Sorry.
Fine.
Okay.
When we first met out at where is it? West Hampton, that place where you pick up the shark's teeth, like was it West Hampton, West Dover?
Don't ask me. I don't know. I'm from the
I don't know.
mountains.
Of course, I start talking about Geri, and she gets up and leaves. But just her growth as host of the Vibe Time with Geri, and how comfortable she's gotten and investigate as far as investigating with you, David, at the Manor House. Lots of growth there as well.
Heck yeah. I think that's something beautiful too, is like empowerment. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
We should all be empowering each other. I've watched Geri's growth over the years too. From being on Vibe Radio, and us, like, me and Geri's hung out a couple of times at events out there at the cabin when we've been out there. And you can see that growth. And I think, and like you said, like, you're sitting there empowering other people, you're uplifting other people, and we should do that more often than we really do. I can't speak for myself. I go around showering everybody, man. I'm like, but humanity as a whole should be doing that more.
I gotta say that before I met Geri, I was probably the biggest skeptic when it comes to the metaphysical side of everything. You tell me you're a psychic, I'd say you're full of shit.
Like Miss
just
Cleo,
being honest.
Those commercials that came on.
Yeah, but since I've known Geri, and she's never once said, "Well, I'm this, I'm that." She's shown me, and that's the kind of person I am. You show me, and I'll believe it. And I've grown because of that. And she always calls me her metaphysical fairy now, but I said no, I'm a metaphysical bouncer.
Listen, once that doorway is open, no matter how it is opened, you have to find that trust, especially if it's through someone else that's kind of giving you a peek behind the curtains, or just take my hand and let me show you what magic is. That's a blessing. And, again, you have to have like a lot of trust in someone to be able to know that what they're showing you or what they're trying to show you is real, because we're not here to convince anybody that it is. Where I'm coming from, especially myself, I can speak for myself. I know that I'm coming from a place of, let me show you. I don't need you. I don't need you to think this or whatever, or ask me what the lotto numbers are for tomorrow, or like think of your dead grandpa's first name, or any of that ridiculous shit. It's like, let me just show you. And that's confidence, and that takes years. It takes years to overcome self-doubt. It takes years to overcome people who the judgment of people, working through the judgment of others through yourself. But it's a beautiful process when you start awakening and go through that door, because it changes your life. I mean, it really does. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's changed yours, Dave.
Oh yeah, it definitely has. And I think, and the longer that, because I've been in the field for over 30 years, and the longer I'm in the field, especially in the couple of years I've known Geri, I have started. I hate using the word feeling things, but for lack of a better term, I have been starting to feel things.
You got
shut
feel
up,
it,
Geri. Geri, shut up.
That's on record.
What's that noise?
That's on record. That's almost like getting somebody to fess up that you're wrong and you're apologizing.
I'm not going to apologize.
Of course,
you use
not,
that
but
word.
I have.
Use that
Yeah.
word earlier. Trust.
Yeah.
And it goes trusting yourself as well as trusting other people, and that's what
Yeah.
a lot of this whole field is built upon is trust. Whether it's evidence, you're not faking it, or
Mhm.
trusting someone to lead you on the spiritual path that you want to go on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's the more importantly is leading someone to themselves because no one's a guru. No one should be your guru. If you have a teacher, they should be teaching you how to get in touch with yourself because that's the vessel to spirit. That's the communication vessel. So, but we do have people like ourselves who inspire other people. We can inspire the hell out of other people. That's the beautiful part about it. And I think if people would take that power away, because what happens is, and Geri, you're going to know, and I'm sure Dana, you know as well, is that when people see you as their guru or their teacher and you didn't even put yourself in that category, it becomes an attachment issue where they base their spiritual growth upon you. And that's not the goal there. The goal is to empower someone to their power. And that's the beautiful part. And it's so beautiful and so intricate that we can say one thing to someone or teach them one little thing that it pours out into hundreds of other people. It's like this little meme I saw with a match, and all the other matches were not lit, and it was just one little match, and it caught, right? Because that's the effect that we have on people. So empowering.
And we were just talking about like the reverse side of that earlier, where there are spiritual practitioners out there who are like parasitic and rely on that relationship with an individual to have them keeps coming to them for spiritual advice and things like that. Whereas you kind of don't want to do that. Like,
No.
I want to have, like, it's nothing against people, but I want to have minimal interactions because I want to give you the tools to do it yourself.
Right, absolutely. And that's what it's about. It's like, that's what I've told people for years is like, I don't want you to come back to me no in a while, but I don't want to, trust me, as much as I, financially need that money. No, that's not what I'm about. It's like, this is to teach you. That's what we have this power to do, is to encourage and empower other people. And that's what it should be about. But on a way bigger scale, I mean, it just, it's all about that spark.
Yeah, set people on the right path.
Yeah.
We set you on the right path, Ryan. I mean, look at you. You're meditating. You're,
Once every 2 months, but yeah.
Ryan, did you see anything during your meditation?
Just basically what they're telling me to see. It was more of just a cleansing meditation. I've done a few of them where they tell you, they help you meet your spirit guides, but it hasn't worked yet.
Well, you know what?
They'll get to it eventually.
It takes your own time too, and you got to understand. You got to get that connection on your own, and it's nice. I know for you how you work, and it's how I worked when I first started. I needed someone to walk me through it, that guided meditation, and then you get to where you don't need that anymore, and it's just like you just snap into it and out of it. It's quiet in your mind, and Ryan, that's what you struggle with so much, and I always have. It's quiet in your mind.
Yeah, my spirit guide's off getting drunk somewhere.
Well, that's all right, because mine's
shaking his head every other day.
Yeah, I feel like mine's just looking at me going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, his head like this.
I told you not to do that.
I love it.
What have you seen anything as far as I was talking to a girl on the show, and she was a medium, but she could see things that were not human. Like she said, she's seen fairies, trolls, stuff like that. What is the weirdest thing that you have seen? We'll start with Geri.
I don't think. I mean, the weirdest thing I've seen is that thing out in when I was taking some classes for paranormal investigations, and I was going from house to house. We went to one house, and it was a very, very thick smoke, and it would move all around the room. And it was able to slither or get big or get real small, and then it manifested into some beautiful woman in front of me, and then it manifested into something that I don't even know what the hell it was, and it jumped inside of me. That's all I remember. I would say that's the most weirdest thing I've ever seen, because it was able to manipulate itself. It was able to, it would get real dark with smoke. It would,
Like a shapeshifter?
it was just very interesting. Very interesting. And I wasn't the only one there. There was like 10 other people there. But it was a very interesting experience. She was able to manipulate the temperature in the room. She was able to make you tired if she wanted to. I mean, it was very interesting. And my sister was there. So I'd say out of everything that I've seen, that was the most weirdest stuff to me.
What about you, Dana?
Oh, so I'll go with like actually seeing with my eyes, because I'm sure that Holly and Geri both get where I'm coming with this, where sometimes you see it fully with your mind's eye and partially with your eye. And then other times you see it like all with your eye, like with everything. Probably one of the craziest things I'd seen was I was a child. I was little. I was like 8 at the possible oldest, but I'd say like 5 or 6. And I had My Little Pony tent over my bed. And this memory is like such a core memory for me because of this My Little Pony tent. But it was a hot night, and I lived in a row home in Fishtown in Philadelphia. And my house was weird. So like I only had one window that was here because there was an addition built on here. So whatever other windows were in my room were now like the hallway and the addition. So I literally had like the house kind of jutted out like this, and it was just this one little window that reached into the alleyways, and in the and there was like all the lights in the alleyways. And I remember my bed was parallel to the window, and I looked up, and I lit Glenda the Good Witch. Imagine Glenda the Good Witch, like that big bubble just coming down from the sky and into my room, through my window and into my room. And there was a figure inside the bubble. But the thing is, till this day, I can't remember what the figure was. I know it had a human form. I cannot remember if it had wings, but I know it had other appendages that were not human. And the bubble was golden. It was pink. It had some like blue and purple swirls, but it was like this big golden light. And it was the craziest thing. And I always thought it was an angel, because at the time, my perception was only angels and demons. Like I didn't know of like any other being, but it was a very warm light. It was very loving. It was literally crazy. And it was probably one of the only nights that I can remember not hearing little kids giggling in my room that night, because that was the thing. Like there was a whole lot of things to the house I grew up in, but like that was one of the nights that I actually remembered it being quiet and not scary.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. With like a calming presence.
Yeah, it was the craziest thing. And I always used to be like, before I started like really researching, I always used to be like, I saw an angel. I know I saw an angel as a kid. I know I saw an angel. And now I'm like, I don't know, because when you do that biblical research on angels, they're freaking scary. I don't know if I saw an angel. I see something.
That's true. Yeah.
Not with the wings or whatever they have on the.
There's a reason they always started off all like those passages with "fear not," and it's because those things are freaking scary. And if that's what I saw, well, then it really camouflaged itself to convince 5-year-old me it was okay.
That energy is intense too. It's a intensive energy to feel.
It's
Yeah.
like I equate angelic energy to like
Mhm.
being in a room really close to a gong as it's being
Yeah.
hit. It just resonates right through you.
It
And
does.
then it's like similar but different, like two sides of the coin as far as like infernal energy. Because
Yeah.
that goes right through you. But instead of it like vibrating you, it almost kind of like presses on you, and it's either like a hot, heavy, yucky blanket.
Yeah.
But then if it's like an infernal, like the infernals that people practice with, then it might be a little different. It depends on the being. But like, yeah, they're like two sides of the same coin. They go right through you.
Right, yeah. Recently we've encountered me and Dallas both. He's in the room up here with me, guys. I'm gonna turn it over on him.
Hey, everybody.
But we've had a lot of channeling and sit downs with Michael, Archangel Michael. So the energy is way intense with that.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
So, what is the weirdest thing you've seen, Holly?
Just put me on a list, Ron. Let's see. Let me go back to. So my little backstory is I started having out of body experiences. I'm a traveler. I'm a plane walker, which means that I can, when I'm sleeping, I've tapped out and I'm going around doing shit that I'm not aware of most of the time. But so when I started awakening, I was about 16 years old, and I started having experiences that I had no clue what it was, and it was like here and there. It wasn't all the time. One of the most, and this was like I seen it with my eyes because I was in the astral, but didn't realize I was in between. Because it was happening in my bedroom. I've seen all kinds of weird stuff because of the plane walking. But one in particular was I had my boys in the bed with me. They were little. I was living in South Carolina away from home. And there was a man that walked toward me, and he was not human. He was like a goblin, but he was wearing human clothes. So just long story short, I got my Bible at the time because every high school senior got their Bible with their name imprinted on it. I was like, I don't know what that is. I'm not like a Christian or anything, but let me just put this under here just in case because it scared the living hell out of me. That's the first thing I had ever seen in person like that. Yeah, so looking back and through the years, having to kind of digest what happened there because it kind of threw me out. It really did throw me out into trying to figure out who I was or what was happening to me and all that. Like his energy, he didn't know I was there. I was in his world. I was a spirit in his world. So it was wild, very wild because I remember him so vividly. But yeah, I was a ghost in his world.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the ghost shows, how everything is not demonic.
No,
There are
it's not.
different.
It's lower vibrational. I mean, it looks different. There's different levels. There's lower level, there's higher level, but it's just like Halloween Townish, everything looks scary, but it's not really that. It's not that. You feel it way before you see anything like that. That's what gets me about that. But people want to blame their issues and their traumas on demons. Sorry about your luck on that one. You can't keep continuously blaming outside sources when you need to work on in here. Amen.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's the whole key of that one. But
That's something I could talk about all day, but
yeah. But it's the truth. Yeah.
yeah.
But guys, I hate to get off here early. I love you guys. Happy birthday, everybody.
You too.
But I've got to go.
Yeah, we're ending here shortly. I'm not used to doing a 2-hour show, so it's just like my back is killing me.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Bye. Love you, Holly.
Have a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Everybody's October babies except for that fucking Gemini up there.
Honorary October baby. But yeah, there are so many different things that makes me wonder, talking about your bubble thing. I wonder if the person who wrote The Wizard of Oz maybe had the same experience that you did as a child. But
Maybe.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
You know,
'Cause
that's a good point.
the Good Witch of the North is a calming influence. She's very calming. She calms down the Munchkins. Right, talk about the kids laughing and stuff. Maybe it's.
And then she goes and tells Dorothy to kill her sister. So, like,
I mean, nobody's perfect.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if maybe he had the experience, but then it kind of got repressed.
maybe.
And as he was writing it, and it came to him in a memory, but he wasn't aware of that's what happened. If he had something happened when he was like 3 years old or something, he probably wouldn't remember it.
Mhm.
But maybe it was still in his mind. So when he's writing the story, it comes back and expresses it that way.
It's possible. I mean, for me, it was a core memory because it was just like, I know it was real. I know this was not a dream. I was fully awake. Like, I know this because I remember how my blanket felt. I remember how the tent felt. Like, I remember like the sounds that were going on in my room before it started. Like, so it for me was a very big deal that this happened. And it was one of the few nights that like I had awful night terrors. Awful night terrors. I feel so bad for my parents because like they just had a kid that would not sleep at all and like constantly slept in their room. And like I know that I slept through the night this night. And with the night terrors that I had, like this was such an experience that was such the opposite. I wasn't being chased by I used to get chased by this like skeleton man that had like literal flesh ripping off his face so you could see exposed muscle and bone. And he used to chase me through my neighborhood in my dreams. Like, so this was like the polar opposite. So I will never forget this. Whereas I can forget most of the nightmares. They were such a common occurrence.
Sounds like such since you were dealing with the night terrors, having this calming influence, it's kind of like a groundbreaking moment for you where it's like finally a breakthrough where I'm not constantly feeling this fear. So after that happened, did you feel better? Was it less?
I don't know how long it lasted because like the house I grew up in for me personally was scary. We had a military man who, when you're in the military and you're standing guard, you can only walk so many paces. And he would walk, I forget, we counted them out, but he would only walk that same allotted paces from the back bedroom to in front of my room, to in front of my parents' room, to the stairs, down the sofa to the stairs. And he would just walk this all night. And he would stand in front of my doorway and watch me sleep. Creepy. Much. I would hear disembodied voices all throughout my house. I would hear children giggling in my room every night. We would have like, you would see imprints on the couch and then see like a creepy man, or like the fridge. The one day was just, we found it open and everything that was on the shelves was laid perfectly on the floor. And I'll never forget, I forget what ruin it is when it's like that ruin.
Yeah.
But the butter and the butter knives were shaped in that ruin on the floor. Like, just, I tell people now that I know that investigate, like the house I grew up in would have been a gold mine.
Do you know the history of that house?
No, I only know that the family that lived there before us had a son that was in the military, which was weird because I know my sister had dreams about being in the military when she was there. And the back bedroom, you would hear the footsteps of the army guy go into the back bedroom, turn around, walk back out. And so many people had accounted for it. And then there was something other that was there that I didn't perceive it as human, but I also didn't perceive it as harmful. But it would scare away any male that meant to do the females in the house harm. So like they would be there, they would see a shadow, and that's it. They wouldn't come back.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
It's like it vetted the men for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know much about the history. And I moved out of the house when I was 19. My mom sold it when I was like 20, 21. So, but I have a question for Geri. Did you notice, like, just with being gifted, like just having abnormal amounts of activity in homes since you were a child because of you yourself?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yes. That's in my book.
And do you notice that, like, do you have any family members who are also gifted who kind of deal with like the same thing, or is it just you?
My sister is sensitive. My brother is almost like David Flowers, but he's beginning to be more sensitive, which is a good thing for him, and my mom. Now, the rest of my family members, I'm not sure about because I really don't know. But as far as my immediate, like my mom, my sister, like I said, she's sensitive, but my mom sees veils every night. She sees angel veils, faces that come to her with veils on a nightly basis, and she'll tell me, I saw the angel veils last night, and they were in different colors, and I was touching them, So yeah. Now she does see spirit, but she doesn't want to accept certain things.
Yeah.
But
I don't.
it's kind of like with having with David and myself, being around spiritual people can help open up. It's kind of like a chain reaction. Just when you're around someone for such a long period of time, it kind of opens you up.
You can't help it.
Almost,
You can't help that.
So, like my mom. So I'm gifted. I feel like there's other family members who are gifted but have blocked it. Like I tried to block it into my late teens, early 20s, and then around like 25 to 27, I had an experience where basically spirit said, "Bitch, you have no choice.
Yeah.
This is your path, and we're going to open this door for you." And my mom has always blocked it. Well, my mom had adopted my family member's children in a kinship situation. So now, legally, they're my younger brothers and sisters, just for simplicity's sake. And they're all gifted. And I'm gifted. And I spend a lot of time around her now. And she said that she was perfectly happy with her limited gifts and her door being closed. And then all these kids came in and forced her doors open. And now she's actually seeing spirit, having dreams, a lot more stuff going on than what was before. And she jokes that the kids busted her doors open.
That's funny.
Kids are good for that.
In more than one way, right?
They say sometimes ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't want to know that there's something else out there. They like living in their box of the world. They are like, okay, this is like my dad. He knows what I do, but he doesn't really want to know what I do. Because he likes living he's been 75 years living in a certain way. It's tough to accept that there's more out there, but he knows there is.
Fear of the unknown is a lot of it. I was surprised yesterday doing the stuff over at the church or the women's club. I was surprised at the amount of women, because there was over 30 people there, but I was surprised at how open they were, because I really didn't think they would be, but they really were. And they had a lot of stories, and it was just interesting. So, but I think people have a fear of the unknown with that.
Yeah. And the unknown is scary. I mean, think about like with our day-to-day lives, like when you have to make a major change and you don't know how it's going to turn out and things like that.
Yeah. So,
and then to have to deal with the level of unknown that we're all dealing with. Which, by the way, you just had a piece of dust or something fly up on your screen, Dave. You might want to look at that later.
what was that?
Okay.
Oh,
Poor shit.
He was just testing to see if we were paying attention.
Damn it. Beat your ass.
But yeah, like the unknown that we deal with on a day to day, like, I mean,
yeah.
now I'm sure to all of us in the capacity that we deal with it, it's old news.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I wake up and see a person standing at the foot of my bed now,
And now you're like, oh, okay. Can you come back tomorrow? Just like
yeah.
you.
Well, I have strict boundaries put up in my bedroom because please don't disturb my sleep.
I've done that. It doesn't work for me. They come in anyway, so I have to make an appointment with them.
Oh yeah, I depends. Like if I feel someone around, I'll put a boundary up just so I don't see them. But you can
Yeah.
talk to me in my dreams. I just don't want like Bob from down the street smoking a cigarette at the foot of my bed when I'm in like not a lot of clothes. Like that's not comfortable. Or like this screaming old hag lady that used to show up at the side of my bed.
That's gonna be annoying.
Oh, she was creepy. I didn't, and it was like I thought she was screaming at me, but she wasn't screaming at me. It was just that for whatever reason I wasn't tuned into her right, so I couldn't hear her. So I could only see her lips moving, and I would see her at the side of my bed, but I would just see her lips moving, and then she would get more and more frustrated, and then she'd be like,
Yeah, in your face. Yeah.
All up in your business.
"Oh no, it's creepy." Well, first off, when you wake up and you're half asleep and you roll over and you see something like that, like we're really honestly, what's your first reaction? I'm questioning, like, am I still asleep?
Mm-hmm.
I had to kick her out of my bedroom and just kind of like make a time to connect with her later because I didn't sleep after that.
I have a hard time falling back asleep myself. I've had an old lady screaming at me.
Well, she was like your stereotypical like hag.
Well, it's like that lady in Princess Bride. No.
She had long white and gray scraggly hair, very thin, but like looked like it was like flowing in water or something, and like the very haggard features, but you could tell that she was like beautiful under that. And
Yeah.
the fingernails was what got me because they were just so long and jagged and like gray and like.
Well,
Well, we've had a good show.
yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed it very much.
I did too, and I enjoyed
Thank you.
meeting you guys, and thank you so much for giving me another chance to chat.
Yeah.
No problem.
For
Yeah,
coming on.
we have a lot, so
2 hours.
we could
That
talk about.
Angie. Hi, Angie. Walk right past the fucking screen and don't say hi.
You're not
Yeah.
supposed to have me on the screen. It should have been tilted the other way, but hi.
Whatever. Whatever.
She,
Whatever.
she did her hair.
I ain't seen her in so long. I forgot what she looks like. Jesus. Got to come over for dinner.
You got to come back. We'll make you some more Alfredo.
Yeah.
Bring David with you. We'll do a little dinner. We have Dana come down too.
She makes some really good Alfredo. Oh,
That was good stuff.
Well,
heavy
here in
face.
all these different locations, I now have like a Virginia bucket list because
Nice.
I like history and I want to see who shows up.
There's plenty of that down here. That's for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
We have
Plenty
of
of
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
that matters.
Like Ryan told me before, it's only 4 hours. Can do that, no problem.
Yeah,
Far.
hop in and drive. That's all you got to do. Shit.
Do it a weekend.
You know,
Yeah,
you
Why
want
not?
if you want to come check out the cabin, you have a place to stay. You can stay at the cabin.
Mhm.
I would try it. I don't know how successful I'd be. I might have a tent outside. It all depends on what, how the night goes. But
There's plenty of
You'll
woods.
be all right. Trust
Plenty of
me.
woods to
You'll be all right.
I haven't come in
Probably-
contact with very few places that I was actually scared to sleep in. But
Yeah, this one I've slept there several
that's what I'm
times.
hearing.
You're good.
I'm hearing I might want a tent or like a car to sleep in is what I'm hearing.
Just don't sleep in
you'll
a brick rancher and you'll be all right.
Bring a blankie. You're good. All
All right,
right.
guys.
Well, thank
Happy
you. Y'all have
birthday.
happy birthdays. Yeah.
Jerry,
Okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dana, 23rd.
Day after my
Dave,
sister. I
My birthday
believe.
late from June.
Gemini.
And then my birthday is a week from Wednesday. Week
I
from tomorrow.
know.
So,
I know.
So is
awesome.
anybody having any milestone birthdays?
I'm gonna be 46. So.
No, I'm 53. I'm good.
Yeah.
How about you, Dana?
I have a milestone.
Oh, which one? How much?
Aw.
How old?
40.
Oh, well, there you go. Welcome to the club.
Yep. My last couple days of my 30s, I'm going to say goodbye to them because the last few years have been ridiculous. I
You're
mean,
from your
I have to
30
say
anyways.
goodbye.
40 is not the same as it was back in the day, where it's like, over the hill. It's not like that anymore.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm still 27 as far as I'm concerned. So,
Age is
40
just
is
a
the new
number.
30 anyways. That's,
yes.
Yeah, so
Just a number.
exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much
Yeah.
for tuning
Don't
in.
forget to get those EVPs in, y'all. 7
I
seconds.
will-
Who do you guys have on the show next week? Dane,
John Stevens.
John Steve. Oh, it's the
It's paranormal paranormal
annual-
event time. Yep. Tune
we've
in.
I've got Forgotten Explorations on the show
Cool.
coming on, talk about their Halloween extravaganza. And this Saturday and Sunday, Angie and I will be at the Richmond Nightmare Weekend convention downtown, doing a live broadcast of the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show. So
Nice.
Cool.
we've got Austin William Ingle from Forgotten Explorations on Saturday at 2:00, and then Sunday at noon we have Dennis Eslock from
Cool.
Cabin, and of course Commonwealth Researchers of the Paranormal. So
Nice.
I'm a little nervous about it, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
You'll be
Um,
fine.
Awesome.
Super excited
All
about seeing
right.
everybody down there. So guys, thank you
have
for
a great
you guys
night.
so much.
Enjoy your birthday. I'm gonna go invent.
Everyone.
Have a great night, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Adios.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.